anointed people in the pulpit. That's what happened in the Bible. In Elijah's life, Elijah had to prophesy amongst false prophets. And there are many false prophets that are in the land. And the Bible said that the children of God, and you got to be careful, St. John, you got to be careful, Mount Tabor and Dominion, that you don't get caught up with what you see in TBN and Word Network and what you see around the corner at somebody else's church. The Bible says, know them that labor amongst you and esteem them what? Highly for their work's sake. Everybody that put on the collar, everybody that put on the robe, everybody that stands behind the sacred desk is not men of God. And sometimes because we've had a real man of God for 54 years, we don't know what it means to not have a real man of God. When you've had a real one, sometimes you take them for granted. Sometimes you neglect them. Sometimes you become familiar with them. But we've had a real man of God that have stood strong and have stood tall when everybody else compromised. He continued to say what God said. When people walked out the door and said, what's wrong with that man? How could he have said that to me? Why would he go about it that way? Yet he held to his convictions. And many returned and said, I'm sorry. Just the other day, I was in the hospital with him, and one of the former members of the church came in there and said, Bishop, I just came by to tell you thank you. Why? Because I didn't understand when you was rebuking me, why you were rebuking me. I didn't understand why you said some of the things that you said. I didn't understand why you did some of the things that you did. But now that I'm a little older and a little wiser, and I've launched out on my own, I see that you were right on that. I needed that chastisement. I needed that rebuke. Some of y'all not going to catch it until he's gone. But for those of us that embraces his life and ministry, we thank God for chastisement. We thank God for discipline. We thank God for him being bold enough to speak the truth and to tell it in season and out of season. Bishop preached the truth when it was popular, and he preached the truth when it was unpopular. Elijah found himself surrounded about 850 false prophets, because the Bible said that there was those 400 that were false prophets, and then there was another 450 that sat at the table of Jezebel, and they had infiltrated Israel. Israel was God's people. Israel were the people that understood what Yahweh was all about. Israel was the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But because of politics, can I get somebody to talk to me here? Because of politics, there was a situation where Jeroboam said, look here, I'm king now, and the kingdom has been split. And I'm afraid that if the people continue in the true, authentic worship of God by going to Jerusalem, that I'm going to lose my kingdom. So he established false priests.